Hey friend, welcome to the Style Thief Fashion Podcast. I'm Erin Stahl, personal stylist and founder of Style Thief Fashion. Through my tools not rules approach, I'm here to help you unlock the style you've always dreamed of so you can live the life you want. Well, hi friend. Oh, I'm excited for this episode. This is part 2 of talking all about the midlife stomach. First, I have to say that the feedback from last week's episode has really blown me away and made me feel so good, because the thing that I'm hearing over and over, which was my hope in sharing just a little bit of ranty rage about our stomachs, was that it really helped many of you rethink how you've been feeling about your stomach in particular and your changes in your body. And anytime I can't take away all the things that you might be holding on to, the frustrations you have, I certainly understand. But if I can provide a reframe, a gentle peacefulness, moments where you can be like, it is what it is today. I got dressed, I moved on, I did the things. All of this is such a process, but I knew that if I could speak a little bit about it, give us space, have a conversation, that when we got to this point of today's episode, where I'm going to show you some practical tools and ways to navigate the middle of your body, your torso, belly area, whatever you want to call it, because I do know that that is hard, especially for those of you who have generally had a flatter stomach and now it's sticking out and it's fluctuated for whatever reason, whatever life stage you're in, and you just feel like it's different and you feel like the things you used to do, the things you used to like to wear aren't working anymore. So that's what we're going to do today. And if you're watching on YouTube, which I will say, this is a great episode to do that. I am going to be giving you a lot of visuals. I'm in a different place in my living room. If you follow me on Instagram, you're familiar with the behind my sofa in front of these beautiful windows that we have that have the best light, where I used to do a lot of try-ons and outfit photos. This is the best place for me to show you, because I will be showing you with my own body and my own clothes some of the concepts that we're talking about. So certainly listen to this. I'll try to do my best to describe what I'm doing in hopefully a way that you can visualize. But as soon as you can get to a place where you can watch this on YouTube, I think it's going to be really helpful for you to just see these things come to life. So I'm sitting, but I won't be sitting for long, because I'm going to show you some different concepts that I think can really help you, tools. I always want to give you tools that you can think about starting to employ in your own wardrobe that are going to help you navigate your midsection. And I will use the term navigate, but in no way do I think you need to work hard to minimize this area. There are days where I don't work hard to do that. There are days that I do. You get to choose, you get to decide. None of this is a have to. These are just some helpful things to think about that maybe you haven't thought about before when you are getting dressed, thinking about the middle of your body. So you're not going to hear me talk about shapewear. You are not going to hear me talk about body types, because I think all body types can have a middle, like the shape of your body, the shape and structure. If you hear people talking about being a pear or a rectangle or an apple shape, that does not change, even though your weight and parts of your body may fluctuate. So when it comes to this concept, I'm speaking in broader terms that hopefully anyone of any stature, any body shape, any weight, any size can think about. And they may not be tools that you had even considered or thought going into this episode that I'm going to be talking about. So I want you to just have an open mind and know that with anything that I share, take what resonates and leave the rest. There are going to be pieces of this that will help you. That's my hope, and will work for you. And there will be pieces that might not apply, and that is okay. So the 3 things we're going to talk about today in terms of thinking about how to dress your middle or get dressed, and considering I have a stomach. Well, we all have a stomach, a stomach that might be a little more relaxed than it used to be. We're going to talk about fabric, drape, and what I call bossy layers. And I'll explain more about that. So If you have followed me and you are familiar with my Jeans Week content, my jeans education, I talk a lot about the fabric and how the fabric affects the fit of your jeans. That will be a whole other episode and series. I do have things shared on Instagram if you'd like to learn more about that. But I do think that when you are thinking about a new body shape, and this can apply to a lot of different parts of your body. If you're navigating them, they feel a little bit different. Thinking about fabric is going to really help you, because I think this is a situation where investing in really great high quality fabrics, including denim, including a ponte knit, which I'm going to talk about, thinking about fabrics that are well structured, have stretch to move with you so they can be comfortable, but that aren't so stretchy that they're going to get baggy and saggy. And I think, when we're talking about like some of the denim that we've seen, especially when it came to like the jegging era, it was so stretchy that by the time you got home from work at the end of the day, you could pull your pants off to go to the bathroom without unbuttoning them. So thinking though about when you have pants in particular, pieces that have a little bit of stretch, you want things, especially when you have more in the middle, that when you sit down, they are comfortable and they move with your body, because parts of your body that are going to stick out are going to do that even more when you're sitting. Your thighs spread, your butt expands, your stomach will crunch and things will pop out. So you need to have a little bit of flexibility there. And this is where I talk about compression being something that I'm no longer willing to do, because sure, it may be fine when you're standing, but then when you're sitting, it's a different thing. And along with having more in your middle that you might not be used to, one of the things you may have recognized is how uncomfortable really fitted, really compressed things feel. And that is frustrating. That is, it's overwhelming. It makes you question sizing. So we're going to go for stretch. I'm not saying you have to go all elastic all the time, although I did say permission to wear pull-on pants forever and ever, amen. And that's the first thing I'm going to show you. But there are ways when you pay attention to fabric that no matter what the pant, the dress, the shorts are, you will be comfortable. And thank God, post-COVID especially, brands are wising up to this. Now, our friends, our women that have been in the plus size category for most of their lives are going to be like, yeah, bitches, we told you that pants that have elastic around the back of them are not a bad thing. And now we say, hell yeah, why can't that just be how every pair of pants is? You can put a button in the front, but put elastic in the back, okay? Put elastic all the way around. We don't fucking care. The stretch does matter, but it has to be, I think, the right amount. So one of the things I'm going to share with you, first of all, I'm going to step back. I'm going to talk as loud as I can so that my microphone will pick everything up, but just know that there may be a little variance in volume here. So if you need to turn it up a little bit so that you can hear me when I step back and show you things, feel free to do that. And then I hope I don't blast your ears when I get closer to the microphone. So I'm going to show you my outfit, which consists of 3 pieces. A bodysuit, mostly because I am going to be stepping out of frame and trying a couple different things on, and I don't want neighbors, or if you catch a glimpse of me, I don't want you to see some bits and pieces. And then I'm going to be able to put layers over it, but the bodysuit is actually a piece we're going to talk about. So fabric, thinking about fabric, what I'm wearing are the Stephanie Ponte wide leg pant from Universal Standard. I will link these for you. They are amazing. I think I've put them in every style guide like since the beginning of time. They're a wide leg, kind of A-line shape, like wider straight leg, I would say. They have a really nice wide, thick waistband that is pull-on. So you just pull them on. It's a POP, a pull-on pant, and we love it. Mine have a stripe down the side, so kind of that like track-inspired look, but they also have solid colors that do not have stripes. So the bodysuit, the wide leg ponte pant, and then I'm wearing a button-down shirt, worn open, kind of like a jacket. So at first glance, what I want you to notice is that in this outfit, you really can't see my stomach. Like, you can't look at me here and say it's flat, it's not. And that's by design, okay? This is one of the reasons we're doing this episode. So when it comes to what I'm wearing, one of the reasons why you can't really tell the shape of my stomach is because I've hidden it from you today. I've decided to hide it. I am going to show it to you though, so you can see what I'm working with. So the thing that I love about these pants and what made me want to talk about fabric is that they have a very nice flow and drape to them, which I'm showing you here in the video, but they are a thick, T-H-I-C-C, thick, not thick in a way that they're going to be too hot. I would say these are an all-season pant, but thick in that they actually feel like, even though they're drapey, even though they're pull-on, they have some structure. The fabric kind of weighs itself down, so they lay really flat. They do not wrinkle. They feel so good. And because they're thicker, they do camouflage some stuff. So I'm going to take off my button down. Now, you also are going to see my bra straps because I love you, but I don't care if you see my bra straps sticking out from this bodysuit, okay? This is more of a tool, right? Just so you don't see some stuff. So when I show you these pull-on pants, they hide, like you can't even really see a panty line or anything. So I really like that. First and foremost, a fabric like a ponte knit is going to be one of those fabrics that flows over your skin. You feel supported because it's thicker. It almost has like a structure to it, but there's not compression here. We're not talking about compressing. We're not trying to compress or squeeze anything. Remember, the number one feeling you want to feel when you get dressed is comfortable, but you still feel polished because they have that like added structure. So we're seeing a lot of pieces, dresses, shorts, pants being made in a ponte. If you look for a ponte, P-O-N-T-E fabric, that's going to be a great one for you to try if you haven't tried it before and you're navigating a little more stuff in the middle. So thicker fabrics like this, if they say double knit, that's another knit fabric that will do really well. What you want to feel is almost a weightiness. And again, that doesn't mean that it's going to be too hot for like spring or summer, but that it's going to hold its shape and have structure and move with you. Sometimes thinner, flimsier fabrics. I love linen so much, and I do think everyone can wear linen. It's here to stay. If you get a good quality linen, it actually doesn't wrinkle as much. The linen pants can do the same thing, but there's some things you need to look about in terms of construction. Make sure if you're wearing a linen pant like this, it's got a little more weight to it. Maybe there's a cotton blend. I'll use Universal Standard as an example. Again, they've got a great linen pant that's similar to the one I'm wearing, but it's got a little bit of cotton that actually gives it some like stretch to it, but it's got a weightiness to it. It's thicker. The thinner, flimsier fabrics are not going to make you feel as supported and polished, and they just look a little sloppy. And I think I use that in a way to say, when you are navigating a different body shape, that's the last thing you want to look or feel, right? So fabric matters. In denim, I want you to find some denim that has more cotton than stretch. I want it to have a little stretch for you because that's how it's going to move with you. But I'm not saying go rigid 100% cotton denim. That also is not going to feel great, although I do love my 100% cotton denim. But looking for those brands, I'm going to use Good American as an example. It's a thicker, weightier denim that does have stretch, but it's going to hold, you feel more held and supported. So that's one of the things that instead of thinking pressing and compression, think held, supported, structure. And all of that, yes, comes from construction, but a lot of it comes from fabric. So I'm going to stand up and I'm going to share with you, again, here in just the bodysuit that I have on, which is also, they call this like a double layer fabric. So it's a little bit of a thicker, it almost feels like a bathing suit. It's not, but it almost feels like a bathing suit. This has some stretch to it. I feel held and supported, but it is not compressing me. It's smoothing things a little bit, but I want you to know that this feels very comfortable. I feel supported in it. When I sit down, things are still moving. They're still kind of coming out, as you will see right here. But the smooth fabric, the thicker fabric, not hot, not uncomfortable, supports me and gives me a little bit of structure, which I like. I hope when I use that word, you kind of know the feeling of that I'm talking about. So looking at me straight on, you can't really see the shape of my stomach. And there's another reason I want to talk about this pull-on pant that we'll talk about in a minute. But I'm going to show you, I'm pulling my pants down just a little low so you can see my stomach. I want you to see my stomach. So this is me. I am not sucking in. You can see that I've got stuff, okay? Here it is. Here she is. Here's my panty line for you. It's so hot. 2 kids. What I eat last night? I don't know. Diet Coke, burritos, they're all here. So it's fine. It is what it is, you know, and I know that's a journey for all of us. Here it is. You can see stuff. This is what happens when I sit down, okay? But with these fabrics that have a little weight, a thickness, a structure, I want to say good quality too, even though this bodysuit is from Old Navy. I am very impressed with it. Universal standard for sure. Excellent quality. But I'm kind of held in and supported. Not in a way that I'm uncomfortable or compressed or can't move, but I've got some support here. So fabric is the number one thing I want you to pay attention to in everything that you are wearing, especially in your bottom layer. Pants, denim, shorts, skirts, dresses, all of the things. Because when you have a thicker, heavier fabric, and again, when I say thick, I do not mean like thick, heavy wool. I mean, thinking about quality fabrics, really good cotton, Ponte is a great example. They are going to hold up so much better. They're not going to get stretchy and sagged out and wrinkly. You are going to feel and look more polished in those fabrics, okay? So fabric, number 1, pay attention. Number 2, drape. Drape. Any of you guys watch Project Runway? And now I can't remember the designer who was excellent at draping, like would get just a big ass piece of fabric and would just like drape it and pin it a couple places and it looked amazing. Draping is such one of those things in getting dressed that can just make you feel so amazing. And I think one of the things that I hear from clients, from you, what I've recognized in myself is when the stomach is stomaching, I'm not as willing to wear fitted things. Now there are days where like I'm gonna wear this bodysuit with a pair of shorts this summer and feel great and that's fine. But there are days where I'm not gonna wanna do that. But I still wanna wear things that show my shape. So you don't do that by going from fitted to super big and baggy. There is a happy medium, and that is all about the drape. So thinking about fabrics, I'll use this Ponte pant as an example that they have some movement to them and some flexibility, but they're not super skin tight. Now, I want you to show your body yada yada as much as you want. I want you to. If you want to do that every single day, I want you to do that. No matter your shape or size. But I also know that sometimes there's just stuff, it's like, I don't want to, but I don't want to wear the big tenty dress today. And there is also days for that. They're coming. When it's hot outside, I'm like, I want to wear the biggest ass dress where only like air moves through. So you get to decide what that looks like. But on those happy medium days, look for drape. So these pants are a great example of that because they have some movement, they have some breeziness to them. You can still see my body shape in them. They're not super tight, they're not super baggy, they've got a little structure, but they are draping in a way that feels good to me and doesn't hide anything. So this is not about hiding, it's about feeling comfortable. And oftentimes a drape, a skim, not skims, we're not talking about that, that's more compression. A skimming effect with fabric, the fabrics that you're choosing, is going to be something to look for. So allow me to share another example of what I mean by drape. So I've got one of my favorite tank tops from one of my former favorite brands, Able. Now I'm going to try to find some similar tanks for you. If you want to shop at Able, that is your choice. I actually don't even know if they still have these tank tops. I do love them, but we can find something similar, I'm sure of it. So when I think about drape, I think about this kind of fabric, and this is going to look a little weird because it's a V-neck tank top over my high neck bodysuit. Okay, so that's a visual for you to see in your mind if you're not watching on YouTube. So this tank top, this fabric is a really nice fabric. It's a cotton and I think like a probably like a bamboo or polyester blend. So it's very soft, it's very lightweight, and it is called the drapey tank because it has a very nice drape and flow to it. You'll see that it's not super fitted, but it's not super oversized. And the reason that I love a drapey, especially top, for those of us who are navigating a middle is because you can have it skim your body. Still, we can see that there's a shape under there, which is lovely to see, but you can really trick the eye with this drapey fabric. So I'm gonna stand up and show you with my wide elastic ponte pant. This tank top is, I would say, not too big, not too small. It's right in the middle in terms of where it hits me. It's a little bit boxy looking when you're looking at it straight on, but because I have extra fabric, and this is where the concept boxy is not bad comes from. That's an episode I did a couple weeks ago. You want to go back and listen to that. It's kind of the myth busting about looking boxy or having boxier things is not bad. I actually think this is one of the best tools in using drapey, boxier fabrics and cuts that will help you navigate your middle because you have a lot of versatility in how you manipulate the fabric to show what you want and to hide what you don't. So the drapey fabric, when I do even a simple little front tuck, it blouses so nicely. I don't even have to tuck this entire tank top in. And what I love about a fabric like this, I guess I shouldn't get so stuck on the fabric of this tank top. It's more the drape of it, which you can see in so many fabrics, silks, cottons, polyester. I mean, so many fabrics, it's going to be more about they're cut a little boxier and wider. You've got just a little more room in there. Maybe you've gone up a size and like a button down or something. But when you do that, when you give yourself a little bit of extra room, there's extra room on the sides, like I'm thinking of a boxier shirt like this one. When you do a simple front tuck, you make it look like your shirt is tucked in, even though it's not. You could tuck the whole thing in if you want. The front tuck, I still employ this all the time and I love it. When I want to bring things in my middle and yet still camouflage what's happening up here, especially when I sit down. So one of the things that I used to say is when you do a little front tuck with drapier fabric, a piece that's a little boxier, when you front tuck it or tuck it in, you've got the fabric hanging over and you sit down, no one knows, is it fat or fabric? Nobody knows. And also, who cares? And so what you've got here is that skimming the drape, but you're still maybe hiding what you want to hide. So this is where the combination of a nice fabric plus a little bit boxier, when you have things that are super fitted and you try to do a front tuck, it doesn't work. It feels off. It feels weird. And then you are seeing, more stuff when you sit down, which sometimes doesn't feel comfortable and it doesn't look great and you don't want to navigate that. So if you are noticing, maybe you've gained some fullness in the middle, trying to think of very positive sounding ways to say that. Like the time someone said, they sent me, I think it was like a little video of a little girl saying, I have really powerful thighs. Like I say that and saying, they're so big. You've got a little more fullness. You've lived a full life. You have a full belly. And you've noticed that everything you have in your wardrobe is very fitted. All of your tank tops, all of your t-shirts, and it doesn't feel as comfortable or look as good. Go up to the next size, find some tees and tanks that have a little extra room, because then you can do a front tuck or fully tuck it in, and then you can pull out as much fabric as you want, and it really does hide some of the extra that you might have there, but you still are creating a nice shape by tucking it in, and no one knows inside the fabric what it's there. Is it fabric? Is it something else? Nobody's business, okay? So this is where the draping idea comes from. And it doesn't just have to happen with tank tops. I talk about this a lot with like button-down shirts, which I was wearing when we started. All of my button-downs are oversized. Remember in the early 2000s, I was watching an old episode of The Hills the other day, and Heidi Montag goes into work, and she's wearing a fitted button-down, fitted. It's got the like darts here, so fitted. Even she sits down and it's like gaping. We're not doing that anymore. We have relaxed, remember? We're relaxed, we're chill. So should our clothes be? And with the button-down shirt, when you've got a little more room, I could button this and do a little front tuck here. And the same concept applies. I've got a little bit of drape. I've got a little bit of extra fabric that can hang out and provide some room when I sit down for the stuff to go, but no one's gonna be the wiser. So just thinking about, do your fabrics skim your body, drape, and feel like you have a little fabric to work with? If not, that alone will be a tool that will change how you get dressed. Boxy is not bad. Having fabrics that drape, that give you a little looseness, and you tuck them in or you front tuck them. Things, even if you don't do that, let me show you. Things are skimming away from your body, but not oversized. I know some of us still fight against looking like dressing with things that make us look bigger than we are. And you know, it's okay. You'll work toward it. Take up as much space as you want. But when I put on the drapey tank top, you'll see this. Even with my button down over it, even if I don't tuck it in, there's still enough here. It's not, both pieces aren't so oversized that it's overwhelming me. There's still a skimming, a drapiness, even if you don't tuck it in. But if you do decide to do that, you've got some room. Okay, so fabric, number one. Draping, think a little boxier. Don't be afraid if you need to go up a size, my friends, to get that. It doesn't mean anything about you other than you've decided that because you are relaxed and chill, you are using your voice, your stomach is too, so your clothes are gonna follow suit. Now, the third and final concept we're gonna talk about when it comes to dressing your midlife middle is what I call bossy layers. And I was going to say strategic layering, but I prefer bossy because this is where you are so in charge. You are so in charge of how you want this to go and how you want it to feel and how you want it to look. And I want you to have pieces that will do those things for you. So that's why we talked about fabric and drape first, because when you have pieces that have flexible fabric that you can manipulate in many ways because you've got extra room, you are the boss. You are in charge of how those things are going to look and how they're going to work in your wardrobe. One of the bossiest ways that I know when it comes to pants, especially these really great pull-on pants we've got now, the Gap horseshoe jean that I've been talking about is a great example. These Stephanie Ponte pants with this really wide waistband. The reason I love a pull-on pant like this is because you are in charge of telling it where to go. So allow me to show you. So right now they are on what I would say is my natural waist. However, some days I may say to those elastic pants, you know what? I would like you to be a little higher on my waist. So because they're elastic and I'm the boss, I can pull them up a little bit. So it's maybe now it's on the smaller part of my waist. It was kind of in the middle before. The other thing I love about this, now those of you who tell me you have we call it the mom pooch. Why do we call it that? Because I'm going to tell you, I had that way before I became a mom, okay? And I know women who aren't moms who have it. In fact, most women have it. The wide elastic pant is so great for just pushing that thing in a little bit. I did not say compress. But allow me to show you. So when I take these wide elastic, and the wider elastic waistbands are a thing. Sometimes when you have the thinner elastic waistbands, those can cut in, they don't stretch as much, and they don't hold. So see the difference here. in my stomach when I've got them on my natural waist. I've turned to the side now. But then I can move them down, sort of almost on my hips. And my torso is pretty short, so there's just not a lot of space for you to see the difference in this. But when you watch the video, you will. So what I love about these wider waistbands and a flexible pull-on pant is I can tell it how high or low to go. So some days when the mom pooch is pooching, I just put on pant like this and it kind of holds it in. It does not compress it. It does not make it look like there is nothing there, but it just sort of feels better. It just feels like a hug there, like I've got you and I'm going to stay here and I'm going to hold you in. Not in a way that's uncomfortable, but do you see the difference from up here? Kind of like here's the mom pooch, and then I just move this down and it like kind of cuts through the middle, not in an uncomfortable way. So I love with elastic waist pants, I am the boss. I am the boss. This is the first bossy layer we're going to talk about, okay? So this is my case for pull-on pants forever and ever, amen. And same thing with the pull-on pant. The fabric will matter, the waistband will matter. Do they have the fabric that does give you some nice drape and they flow from your body? They don't feel too clingy up top. This is really where you need to pay attention to letting go of sizing, because depending on the construction and how they're made, sometimes you will go down a size because there will be too much fabric. Sometimes you'll go up 1 or 2 sizes to sort of get that drapiness and the looseness that you want. Work on detaching from the size and worrying about the fit. Fit, not size, always. So the other bossy layer we're going to talk about is the third piece, and there's just no way around it. This is the magic. This is the magic. Even in the summer, you can do this, and I am so excited for those of you who get the summer style guide, to get my seasonal style guides. I have some summer layering pieces for you that are not going to make you feel hot and sweaty, but I do know that so many of us don't feel completely dressed in the summer because we can't layer as much, but I've got some ideas for you. My number one tool is the button-down shirt. I'm going to go back to it again. So when I put on a layer like the button-down shirt, what it does is acts like a jacket. It gives me some light structure, but it's not a blazer, it's not a denim jacket, it's not something that's super thick and heavy. It flows from my body, it has some drape, some air is able to move, but it also brings your eye in and kind of cuts through what's happening in the middle of your body. So what you're doing is a visual trick of separating where the eye is going to go. If I do not have a layer on, you're pretty focused on where this line is, where my waistband of my pants meets my middle, and you're pretty focused on that, which again, fine. But sometimes I don't want you to see that. I myself am like, no, this feels boring. There's nothing else happening here. So that's where the layer can add visual interest. It can add style. It can be, functional for warmth, but I'm cutting the line here, and you're focused now because I have a white button down. My pants are black. My bodysuit is like a chocolate brown. It does all go together, please know that. So now you're focused on this like center column in the middle, this little sliver that you can see, and it really does minimize my stomach area. And let's be real, sometimes we want to minimize it, and that's okay. So the layer is going to do that. But this button down is not the only layer that you have to employ. I also want to show you, because I have a fitted button down or a fitted bodysuit on. Sometimes we don't want that. So this is where we're going to go back to that drapey top or tank top. And this is also where I'll make a case for you to say, keep those fitted tops and tank tops, because sometimes for that layer, you want it to be more sleek and fitted. But when you don't, and you do a little front tuck, and you've got the drapiness in the middle, but you can kind of see where your waist is, and then you put on the button down or the jacket over it. This is also another great way to bring everything into the middle in the way that it's really cutting through and minimizing where your stomach is sticking out. And this drapey tank top layer underneath allows you that room for the extra stuff when you're sitting or you eat too many burritos or whatever. Is there such a thing as too many burritos? So don't always think that when you're doing the layering, that your first layer has to be fitted. It does not have to be fitted. I do like it, and you will like it too when you can see your waist, so doing a little front tuck or something like that. But you are the boss. This is where you're bossing around those layers in your wardrobe and playing with them. And there will be days when you want to not wear the layer underneath and you want to wear the big oversized button-down shirt, and that's okay. That's okay. But the button-down is going to be your best friend, especially in the summer, that acts as that layering piece and still cuts through the noise of the middle, no matter if the first layer you're wearing, that first tank top or t-shirt, has a little drapiness to it, or you're wearing something that's sleek and fitted in the middle. Other bossy layers, of course, the blazer, which is my favorite, but also not always appropriate for the summer because you just feel like you're gonna melt. And this is where I think a lot about the concepts of fabric and drape when it comes to the blazers that I choose. I prefer blazers that are a little more oversized, particularly because I need them to fit the shoulders of my upper arms really well, because those are wider and larger and I don't like to feel constricted. But I also want them to do that draping, skimming thing through the middle. And if I decide to button it, which I hardly ever do, with this one, I still have the looseness there that I've got enough room that I can fully button it, but I'm not feeling so compressed and stuck in the jacket. But 99% of the time, I'm gonna wear it unbuttoned. And I like the drape that just gives you a peek of what's going on in the middle. Same thing with the button down. You've got this nice column of, for me with this outfit right now, it's darker underneath. That's where your eye goes. And it breaks up everything in the middle that might feel larger and more overwhelming than it used to. So don't be afraid that, I should say, the companion episode to this one is probably the boxy is not bad, because it's sort of the same concepts, that it seems counterintuitive that maybe when you have more in the middle that you want to work around, that you should go like smaller and show more, which you absolutely can do. I absolutely love that. That's why I love this bodysuit, that I can show my shape when I want to. But having a little extra room does not make you look sloppy, because when you can see your waist, so tucking that first layer into your pants, your skirt, your shorts, whatever, and then it just drapes and flows over your body, is a very lovely look. It's flattering, okay? Okay, it's flattering. I'm gonna say it, but it's not overwhelming you. Fit is very important, and I don't want you to get caught up on the size, remember? So if you go to a extra large jacket and you've never done that before, but it gives you that room in the middle, focus on that, because it's going to look so great and you're going to feel so much better than thinking you have to stick to the size medium jackets that you've always worn forever and ever. You do not have to do that. You are the boss of these layers, okay? Bossy layers. The other thing I want to show you, and this might not be a perfect example because this jacket that I'm putting on right now is very specific. It's sort of like a utility jacket, but it's a short sleeve one. But I want to show you this as a bossy layer, because the other thing I want you to think about and fight against when it comes to what you are allowed to wear when you have a larger middle, I'm using so many air quotes here, is that you can't wear things that are shorter. And that is just not true. When you look at this jacket that I'm wearing, it's like this shorter kind of, I would say, cropped. It hits me right at my hips. Utility jacket, olive colored. It's short sleeve. This is a great spring summer layer that adds the still polished, complete look that I want in the spring and summertime, or all the time in my outfits, but it's not overwhelming me and I'm not going to sweat my butt off in it. So if you have one of the crop short sleeve button down shirts that we're seeing, there's so many of those in the summer style guide. They come in linen, they come in cotton, they come in poplin, they come in all these different fabrics, or you find a little jacket like this, that's another option for you too. You do not have to, just because you may have more in the middle, stick to longer lengths. That's not even necessarily going to cover it. So don't be afraid to wear things that are shorter because it's still bringing the eye up to where your waist is. And you can see with my pull-on ponte pant, you can still see where that is, even if I buttoned this and wore it like a top, because it's oversized, but it's not overly oversized. It's not overwhelming me, but it's draping, okay? It's like my stomach is right here. There's not a ton of room in it, but it's skimming my body. The fabric has some weight. It has a little bit of structure, but it's a short-sleeved crop jacket, so I can still wear it and be comfortable. So I'm the boss. I get to tell this jacket what to do. Sometimes I want to wear it as a top. Sometimes I'm going to wear it over my drapey, flowy tank top underneath. I'm going to wear it with, whatever layer underneath feels good to me. Just a regular t-shirt, not even tucked in, because some days you just can't, or my drapey tank top here. But you are in charge. And that's why I put the word bossy. You are the boss. So as long as you are paying attention to quality, substantial fabrics, things that are draping, skimming, flowing, and then telling your layers what you want them to do for you in that moment, in that day. When you are focused on how you want to feel, and you're dressing according to that, you will always look good, no matter what. When you are fighting against it and thinking in your mind rules of shoulds, even with what I'm sharing with you here, if something doesn't really resonate, let it go. All I care about is that you're thinking about these things in a different way, because when your body is changing, it's time to change up how you're getting dressed and what may be working for you. So don't get frustrated, work with it, but you are always in charge. You are always in charge of how you feel. And when you're in charge of how you feel, you're going to dress in the way that matches that, and you're always going to feel good. So on the days where you don't want anything touching you, you don't want to show anything, I've given you some tools to have all the drape and all the flow. And on the days where you're like, you know what? I'm out and I'm showing it. You wear just your fitted bodysuit with your flowy pant or your tight pant, whatever you want. You're the boss. You're in charge. And I know it's hard when your body's changing, but no matter what, there are tools for you like the ones I've shared today, plus many more that you can employ. And all it takes is first a willingness to say, I'm going to change the direction. Once you give yourself the time and the space to experiment and play with some of these things, you're going to get more comfortable doing it. It's going to start to feel not so hard, and it's going to become a new way of dressing for you. These things don't happen overnight. Your body didn't change overnight, although it feels like it did. It's going to take some time. So be easy with yourself, be gentle with yourself. Know that you deserve to look and feel great, and it's just going to take a little more experimentation. So I hope that these 3 things that I've shared with you today help give you some ideas. And I know if you've been listening, you're like, I can't really see it in my head. Please come over to YouTube and watch this episode. And if it was helpful to you, I want to know about it. If you're like, I still don't know what you mean by fabric, I still don't know what you mean by this, please reach out to me. You can DM me on Instagram at StyleFeeFashion. And I want to hear what might still be confusing. And if this helped you, I know it's going to help the other women in your life. So share this episode. If you subscribe to this podcast, you'll never miss updates, because I promise you, we are going to be talking about this subject again. I already have had requests for, can we talk about butts? Can we talk about thighs? We can talk about all of it, my friend. And I'm always going to give you the space to get it out in the way that you want to, or even I want to, when it comes to how frustrating it can be when our bodies change, even though they're supposed to, and it really is a gift. But then I always want to give you tools so that you feel in control, because you are. You are in control of how you look and how you feel. First, how you feel every day. And when you're thinking about that and dressing accordingly, it's always going to work out. I'm not going to say it's the most fabulous, amazing, interesting outfit, but you are at least going to feel good, and that is what matters the most. I also want to encourage you, if you haven't already, subscribe to my style guides. This is the perfect time of year to subscribe if you haven't already, because you will automatically get access today to the spring style guide, and in a couple weeks, the summer style guide will be out. So you won't have to wait nearly as long as some of your other friends if you have not yet subscribed, because they're going to come out. So the summer one is on its way. And when you want to see examples of drape, of layering, of some really good quality fabrics, everything I've talked about today in this episode is in those style guides, plus hundreds and hundreds of outfit ideas, so you can get a sense of how you could be wearing some of these things and working them into your current wardrobe and getting styling ideas all the same. And yes, everything I link is shoppable for you if you want to add new things to your wardrobe. It's $125 for the entire year. That's a one-time $125 payment for 4 style guides plus a bonus holiday guide. They're delivered right to your inbox. You can shop from them at any time, go back to them over and over for inspiration. No matter what your body is doing right now, you deserve to at least have fun and go and shop and dream up some new outfits. So consider the style guides as another tool as you're navigating your changing body. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know your thoughts on this episode. And if you're trying some of these tricks and you're noticing a difference, please share them with me. Send me a DM. You can tag me on Instagram and I will share it as well. Till next time, my friend.